I'm Ed Thornton, and I'm the general manager of the locally owned Sedalia Co-op. We are basically a general country store, and we literally have everything from soup to nuts, as the saying goes. Agricultural, we do grain bins, augers, groceries, some clothing, and appliances. So we try to provide a service of a variety of things for local people. It was built in 1925 as a private store, and the community, about 6 members, bought it from the guy that owned it in 1942. So it's been locally owned by the community since 1942. Since 1996, I took over as manager.
And you took over from?
I took over from my dad. Yeah, and he was here for 27 years before that. They came here in the late 70s. This was home for them. So I moved back with them. I did go away. I went to SAIT and lived in Edmonton for 3 years. After that, worked for CBC. But I'm not much of a city person, so I came back home at that time in '89, I guess. Yep, so I've been here 30 years this summer. Yep. Well, I work for a board. The members own the store. They elect a board of 7 people, and that's who I directly answer to. So, but basically everybody that walks in is your boss. So the community owns it, I work for them. The board sets the policies, and I basically get to make the day-to-day decisions. Yeah, it's kind of nice because you work for them. They feel like it's theirs, I think, is why we're here partly.
Like this?
Honestly, as I did it, learned as I went. I don't have, the training I took at SAIT was actually for electronics, for broadcast electronics, which I didn't think through really well because that's always in a city. But at the time I was ready to leave the rural and go to the city, but it was nice to come back. But I just learned by working under mostly my dad, who managed before me, and learned by doing. Yep. Declining population is one, probably, and aging customer base. We used to have a lot of big, young families, and most of them have now grown up, and a lot of people leave. Like, there isn't a lot of work, there isn't a lot of jobs, and there's only so many can stay on a farm. So we do lose a lot of teenage kids. Don't tend to come back. They go to college and they're gone. So that's probably the biggest issue. And economy at times depends. We do well when farming does well. If the farm commodities are down and stuff, it affects us for sure. No, it's not hard, but it's expensive. It's a major cost for us, is freight. Yep, because we're 30 miles off of any major highway. So it is an expense, but we get a grocery truck once a week with hardware. And then specialty stuff, we get a lot of DHL stuff, but we actually have to go to Oyen to pick it up at the depot because they charge too much to come out. Oh dear, it'd be hard to pick one for sure. No, there's lots. It's mostly about helping people. I don't really think of it as myself as a salesperson at all. It's just trying to help people as they come in to the store. They're looking for something to either fix something or to improve something on their farm, so we just, boy, it would be hard to pick a most satisfying. We had a neat thing a couple of years ago. We started to use Facebook more, and we actually gave away, and it was a prime rib on Facebook, but it went crazy. And after it was done, we had 160-some thousand views. So I don't know if it was satisfying, it was surprising, but it shows you the power of media that you can use. Well, originally I did come back because it's a great place to raise a family. That's why I wanted out of the city and back to rural, where the values are just different. But it takes a lot of time. Yep, it takes a lot of hours, a lot of extra hours. It's not 9 to 5 for sure. So it does take a lot of time, but I live 5 miles out of town and I have a 5-minute commute every night because there's no traffic, so there's a lot of upsides too. But But the biggest thing would be that it's hard to balance family and work. Good work ethic, definitely, to start with. It's much different being an owner or a manager than working where you can leave at 9 to 5, where you can go home and, most cases, forget your job. Lots of times you take it with you here. My son has a poster that says, hard work beats talent every time. And that's pretty true too when it comes to working in a business. I would say you have to have good financial sense. You kind of have to count the cost before you start. Now, it's been a bit different here because this business has been so long that we've built it up. But to start this business would take a lot of planning. You'd want a good grip on financial planning. Yeah, you need to look ahead for sure. Yep. And probably putting the customer first. That's what we try to do here. We're here to serve, and that's how I look at the job. It's not about sales. It's not about seeing how much we can make. It's more of just serving the community. And that's partly because it's co-op too. It is their store. It's the community owns the store. So we're here to serve. And I think you could do that in any business that you get into. If you treat the customer well, they'll come back, which we need out here because we don't have a huge customer base. I would say get all of the advice you can before you start. I would seek out people that have done it, people that are in the business for sure. And most people would be more than willing to share advice with you. I would say start when you're young. It gets harder as you get older. Work is harder, and you kind of lose that vision that you have when you're young. But as you get older, you gain more maybe insight and wisdom too. But you can get that from other people. If you go to those other people, you can save yourself years of experiences, good or bad. That would be the main thing. And I wouldn't talk to just people that have succeeded, but if you could find someone that's tried it and it hasn't worked out as well, if they're willing to talk to you, they could probably share maybe more valuable information than the one that succeeded at it, maybe. We're very dependent on the agriculture economy. So the better they do, the better we do. And also local natural gas economy has just tanked. So they've actually closed a plant by town here, which laid off 3. So it makes a big difference how the farming economy goes. Taxes makes a difference, how much they take from the business, how much it leaves for us for the next year. And the population influx would be awesome. Whatever would draw that, just a few more families would make a big difference when you're a small store to start with. Yep. You can't beat the people. We have the best customers. We had a guy walk in this morning and leave us Tim Hortons donuts. If someone's at the till and we're busy, they'll get up and carry the groceries out. It's an awesome place to raise families. It's a great place to raise kids. But when the economy's struggling like it is right now, all across Alberta even, it's hard to find something in that small population base that you can actually make a living at. It would be nice to see a turnaround. It's funny you should ask, and this wasn't staged, but I have it on a board here. This was a buddy of mine that I lost to cancer a few years ago. Sorry. But it's very true. Business isn't always easy, but it's the things that aren't easy that build character. And I laugh at my kids all the time because they always say, how come things that build character suck? And I say, well, that's how it works. That's what builds character. But we're kind of geared to want things easy. And some things are hard work. And when you get through the hard things, that's what makes you a better person, probably a better business person too. If you can come through some struggles, if you have everything go smooth sailing, it doesn't really help you to learn a lot. It's the hard times that help you to learn the things. So that's probably the most valuable quote. I don't know if it's my favorite. Also for business, probably just to treat others the way you want to be treated. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you is probably the best rule for business. When people come through the door, if you treat them the way you want to be treated as you walk through somebody else's door in business, they will come back, and we need that in a small community. You need repeat customers because you have a limited base to draw from. Mostly that we are here, that we have a lot to offer. We have a lot of variety. There isn't a lot else in town to bring people out. We do have a vendors in town and a post office, but we think we're worth the drive. We have a lot of stuff. We have a huge variety. We sell posts. We sold posts down to people last year down at the Hilda area after the fires, and we gave them a good deal to try to help them out. And that's kind of how we run. And we mostly go by word of mouth. And the more people that know about us, the better it is.